Welcome back. This is By the Book, and we are your married relationship coaches talking to you still about Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 7.
Yes.
Before we get started, let us know how you like our background and our new intro.
Yeah. We're stepping up in the work.
We're giving it a shot. So, without further ado, we're talking about Lindy and Miguel and the way that their relationship is developing. If you remember, I didn't like them. I don't think you like them either.
No.
From the start, because of the spiritual background differences, I think that's definitely a challenge for any couple.
Yes.
And I actually thought it was going to play a bigger role in their relationship up until this point. It hasn't really, because she kind of relinquishes everything. You know, when he says something that she thinks is sacrilegious, she just kind of, cringes and rolls with it.
Yeah.
She does mention that it's sacrilegious, but she's not like intent on correcting him and being like, you know what, that's just not something that is going to be okay when you're in front of me. And I think that she should. She should feel the comfort in doing so.
Yes.
But she doesn't, because she's trying to keep him.
Mm-hmm. And
that moves me to my next point about her, which is, I think that maybe she watched too many fairy tales. Like,
what do you mean?
She's like a fantasy romance type person. It's like she wants it to be Cinderella. She's telling him, like, it was odd because we were just watching this clip about her and him and Pastor Cal. Mm-hmm. And when she's telling him, if you feel yourself pulling away from me, basically keep it to yourself. Mm-hmm. That is super weird. Mm-hmm. First of all, she can't take much, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he can't say decision day, can't even say the term decision day because it stresses her out.
They had to rename it. What did they rename it to?
Vow renewal day.
Vow renewal day, yeah.
I would be like, no, this is the day I might say no day. How about that? The day you give me that ring back.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's like no one should be made, I think, to tiptoe over someone else's feelings to their own detriment, right? And that's kind of the place that she's putting him in. She's saying, like, don't do this, like, jump through these hoops, hurdle around me, don't hurt my feelings, make me feel, only tell me positive things. And that was the other thing that she said in this episode. She was saying how she never had to guess with him because he's straightforward and authentic. And at the same time, she turns around 2 scenes later and she's telling him, but don't tell me anything negative, basically. If you feel something bad going on, don't tell me something negative because I'm going to feel like it's a punishment.
Yeah.
Well, since when did having a conversation about a relationship, how it might make you feel, how you feel in that relationship, when did that become a punishment?
Yeah.
That can't, like, she's punishing him proactively by saying, you can't even approach me with these things. And he told her, fair enough, how he responds to that. He said, in essence, I've done that before. Mm-hmm. And the way that I end up communicating to that person is by breaking up with them all the way at the end. So if you limit a person from even being able to tell you, I don't like this, I don't feel good about this, there's a rift between us and this is why, they can't even course correct. Like, you are putting yourself, Lindy, in a position where you can't even course correct.
Yes.
If there's behaviors that you could modify or change, if you're at all interested in doing that, you won't have the opportunity because you won't know that anything is wrong. So, I think that's a huge mistake on her part. That's like a personality flaw that she has, maybe because she's a high stress individual. Mm-hmm. I think we saw that early on. Maybe it was on the honeymoon or maybe even before they got to the honeymoon when she just went on like this rant. And he was looking like, what is going on? She's like, and I get nervous about this and blah, blah, blah. And, whatever. And I'm like, okay, this girl is cool.
I agree with your synopsis and your analytical skills on their situation here. I think Lindy, first of all, yes, they consummated their wedding vows, I think, way too soon. And what had happened was, I believe, the power dynamic shift just a little too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I believe when they should have been trying to feel each other out and get to know each other on more of an intellectual basis, on an emotional basis, get him to invest in her in other ways other than her body, they jumped the gun. And I think she did feel some pressure with that.
Yeah.
But in that process, the power dynamic shift, and he is not that very forthcoming with how he feels. Well, actually, he is pretty forthcoming about how he feels, and that bothers her. And and so it keeps her on guard because she doesn't know where she stands with him.
Yeah.
She's troubled by any type of negative feedback that he gives her.
But she's putting herself in a hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's already trying to do everything to make decision day vow renewal day.
Yes.
Right?
Trying to make it go away.
She's trying to make it, make sure that she knows it's past 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend her first for going into this process very open-minded and very committed.
Mm-hmm.
Or so she says, and I kind of believe her,
mm-hmm.
to making it work with whoever she met at the altar.
Mm-hmm.
But for one, she can't make the other person be her.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't go into Married at First Sight with this, and I'm in it for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She's watched the show before, I'm sure. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
So she knows it's a real possibility that it's a no at decision day. And it's, quite honestly, more likely than not. Mm-hmm. So she's only hurting herself by not allowing him an opportunity to be expressive. And it's double speak because she's saying, yes, I want you to be open and transparent. And then on the other hand, here she is saying, no, that like, keep that to yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, which is it going to be?
Yeah.
There's a fly in here. It's bothering me.
Yeah. Well, I agree, again, with what you were just saying. And I go back again. The power dynamic is shift just a little too fast, and she doesn't know how to handle it. So she's doing everything to try to...
The conversation is different, though, if they hadn't have consummated the marriage. I mean, because I actually felt like the power dynamic was off already. Mm-hmm. It just may have gotten worse.
Yeah.
But I already felt like because she was so committed and sold on it, it was almost as if they had slept together already. Because she's like, I want you all in. And he's like, I don't know if I can get there. Yeah. Like, I need to, get the cheeks before He didn't say he had to, but he made it very clear that that's a way he likes to be expressive. That's one of his love languages, okay? Yes. And without doing it, I think she felt like she was in a hole. Mm-hmm. And now that she's done it, she's still in that same hole. So she might just as well have stuck to her, her guns and just not done it. And so she was comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But she also, I think she's so, right now, she's trying to do any and everything she can to not get hurt. Yeah. But see, you've already had sex with him. And so I think for a lot of women, that's very expressive. And I think for a lot of women that their emotions become very vulnerable through that expression. And so here she is. She's now trying to backpedal and protect herself.
But you don't see her trying to reel back on intimacy. I mean, I think we see that with a lot of couples, and they didn't say, we're doing it like rabbits or anything like that. But I at least didn't get the inclination that she was trying to dial back in that regard. I think that would be a mistake as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying she shouldn't try to, go at her own pace going forward, but what she doesn't want to do is try to like punish him. No. Because that's going to come off bad because he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't make her sleep with him. So I would hate to see that. I don't know what she does actually, but calm down a little bit. Like, she's going to have to reel in her anxiety about decision day and just take this one day at a time.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Some kind of way she's going to have to shift gears.
Yeah,
but here she
mentally,
is.
It's in her though.
Yeah,
she's trying to shift his gears. That's the problem.
Yes.
She in somebody else's car shifting their gears. She got to shift her own gears. Yeah, and get her, because be prepared, brace yourself. You could get hurt, but the more that she tries to force him into her rules and her box, the more he's going to resist that. You can tell that that's not the type of personality or character that he has.
And that's what
he's like, right, exactly. He told her sitting there on the couch with Pastor Cal, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And to be fair, in my opinion, he shouldn't have to.
No.
Now, I want to know what you guys think. Like, do you think it's fair for her to ask him to not even share, like, where he is in that relationship?
Yeah. If there's any type of negative feedback, she does not
weird.
want.
Like, you want it to be a surprise at decision day, fine. But then you can't tell me not to call it decision day. It's rolling the dice at this point. You don't want to know. I can tell you if it's going to be a yes or no, but you don't want to know.
Yeah, but from her standpoint, here she is. I've given you the best I got. And what do you mean you're unsure? What do you mean you have some negative thoughts about me? What do you mean? What do you mean? But yeah, you're still human, you still have flaws, and you still are learning one another. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of negative feedback. And I am a firm believer that anything that you can say, it needs to be said in love. But yet, you still have to be honest with one another to say, hey, I don't like this, or I do like this, don't like that, and be able to say it without having to
censor yourself
or pay a price.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to pay a price for, being honest, especially if whatever you say you said it in love. Anybody can be brutally honest and tear someone up. I mean, we saw that with Lindsay last season.
He's not the type.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to do that. I think he's treating her gently, but he also knows himself, and he's a little bit of a non-committal type of guy. I don't even know if this was the right process for him, because he said himself he went into it looking for a reason. Of course, that is like off-putting to her to hear. I get that. I get why she was like, that's a bad mentality to have, because it is. She's right about that. But beyond that, with him just talking realistically, he gave her a lot of positive feedback about her winning him over, but she can't take any of the negative, and I think that's going to be a problem.
It's going to be
He's not going to be able to give her any feedback without her probably flipping out and crying, going to Camp Justin, and then he's going to shut down.
Yeah. I think here she is again. She's trying to protect herself, and she's being way too dramatic and emotional for the situations. And I'm still not a big fan of Miguel either, because here he is, he's kind of bebopping around and getting what he wants, but yet not giving her the emotional stability that she's asking for.
Okay, and we're going to differ on this point. Like, I don't have any issues with Miguel. I think that I don't. No.
Zero.
No, it's not his fault that they're not on the same playing field spiritually. Okay. It's not his fault. I mean, he believes how he believes, or he doesn't believe how he doesn't believe, that's his right. And they may not have needed to have been matched.
Yes, I agree
but
with that.
I don't think that it's his fault. So with that said, I think he's been honest about who he is, what his needs are, his love language. It's up to her to be an adult and regulate that for herself. If she wants to fall in line and go along with his program, then do that. But then you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
She fell in line, went along sexually with him, and maybe now, maybe before then, she is feeling very insecure.
Oh, yeah.
If you will, in the relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's because they were intimate. I just think it's because she's like that type of person. But you can't then turn around and censor the other person and think that relationship is going to work out. Miguel, in my opinion, hasn't really done anything wrong besides put that bear costume on and be a grown man. That's it. But let us know what you think. If you find something a little shady about him, let me know, because I don't. I mean, and maybe I'm being naive, but I don't see it in him. I don't find him problematic. He just needs the right match.
Well, no. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback. I would say his thought process on love, I think, is way off, especially from a man perspective.
That's a feeling?
That is just a feeling. Yes, I think it's way off. I think, you can express yourself and have a feeling, but I do believe that love is a choice. I believe that you express that choice and you begin to feel because of that choice that you made every day. Because feeling, hey, you can feel hot, you can feel cold, you can feel afraid.
And that's where she is. She feels like he could flip flop at any moment, and I don't think that I think he leads with feelings in that regard. I think the people who are expecting a feeling for love, they get that feeling first. That feeling leads, and then they make the decision to remain committed. Whereas other people flip it around and they're like, okay, well, you know, this person is this and that. They're good for me. It's more of a logic type of decision. Yeah. Like, they're a great person. I enjoy being with them. I choose to love them. And then the feelings may come secondarily. But I don't think that you're necessarily wrong for being one way or the other. Yeah. And he told her that's how he is. You know, I mean, he's done nothing but be honest and transparent. So I don't find anything wrong with Miguel.
Yeah, I think it needs to be some growth in that. I mean, come on,
she ain't exactly mature herself.
That is true, but both of them, they both have their issues, and I just think, hey, for a grown man, you know, kind of like still holding on to a high school thought process on what love is, I think it's problematic.
All right, well, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Let us know what you think. If you think love is a choice, or if it's a feeling, and the sky opens up and sprinkles down like these pretty little love dust or something like that, you know, let us know. I think I'm somewhere in between. I maybe we'll talk about that in another episode. I gotta think. I gotta gather my thoughts on what I think love is and how it develops. But I'd love to hear from you guys about that. Also about your feelings about Lindy and Miguel's relationship. And do you think he's the villain? Because I don't. I'm starting to label her the villain. If there's got to be one, it might be her.
I think they both.
She's
equally.
just too scared to get hurt to even function normally in a relationship.
I think they're both equally kind of at fault. Yeah, and it's going to be equally their demise of their relationship. Because again, he's the man. He should be taking a lot more ownership and a lot more leadership within that in this process, in knowing what he's learning her. But as he's learning her and knowing how to express himself in a beneficial way, that's for her. And that
Miguel, don't be jumping through no hoops for that girl. She kind of. That's my advice.
I ain't saying jump through the hoops.
It is. She's trying to set the hoops up right now. Like, jump through this one, then do that one. Don't do that one. No, that's not gonna work. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think. We'll talk to you soon. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.